So, guys, welcome back to the channel. But what have we just witnessed, guys? Like, what have we just witnessed? This was like one of the most insane UCL nights that I think I've witnessed in my life. And I really feel sorry for the people who are like in like secondary school or boarding school or something, and they just don't have access to this game. Like how? I myself, right? I miss this buying. I miss this buying PSG game live, but I made a very conscious effort to not go on TikTok, not go on Instagram, not even go on Snap. Unfortunately, it was ruined for me, and I got the alert. Not the alert. I was able to see that somebody had posted the scoreline before 5-4, but as of halftime, no, it wasn't even halftime. It was, I think, 45 minutes, right? And I saw that it was 2-2. I thought that was halftime. So I made a full conscious effort to watch the entire 90 minutes again. And I have to say, it was so worth it, right? I was watching with one of my friends who doesn't watch football in the room, and all they were able to hear me say was, hey, oh my God, that's amazing. What? How can you tell me the story throughout the game? Because this was just genuinely such a fantastic watch from start to finish. And what else can I say about this game? I don't even know where to start, because obviously, like, the plan is to do the two games in this video, right? For both the buying game and the Arsenal game, right? So I don't know. I genuinely don't know how I'm going to do that, because like I have so much to say about both games. But we're gonna try. So I'll try to keep both games as brief as possible. Try to keep them down to 10 minutes so that the video doesn't go like beyond 30 minutes or 20 minutes even, right? So, buying PSG. What I want to say is that Vincent Company and Luis Enrique, both of you are who you guys think you are. Yeah, both of you are who you guys think you are. Bakula actually didn't do anything in this game, right? But both of you, with the way you have managed your teams, gotten them to this level, congratulations. Like, this is the definition of, I feel, management from both coaches. Because you look at where Luis Enrique inherited PSG from and where they are now. PSG weren't bad when he inherited them, but I feel like within the last year, you're able to see that this is Luis Enrique's team now. This is it. It almost doesn't even look French, right? But it doesn't look Spanish either. There has some Spanish tendencies, and it has some. I don't know. It just has that magic feeling. You know, when you talk of like magic, and players like Ryan Cherky, players like Desiree Doué, your Vinicius Juniors and co, right? People who light up the pitch, Bruno Fernandes, who lights up the pitch just by the fact that they are on it, and you don't know what they are going to do next. I feel like this game had so many of those people, right? And when you play football, right, at any level, right, whether it's at a very low level or it's at an extremely high level, the number one thing that you are always told about if you want to progress higher and higher is that you have to master the basics. So your first touch has to be good. Yeah, your weight of pass has to be perfect most of the time. You have to be able to read the game well, right? Those small basics, right? And then whatever you add as your individual thing is like what to separate you from other people. So let's take Riyad Mahrez for an example, right? Again, phenomenal player. He reads the game well, good technique generally, but you can't beat Riyad Mahrez first touch. There are only a number of people in, I'd say, history who, I don't think it's crazy to say that if you had to depend on somebody controlling a ball from a million miles away, right? Riyad Mahrez would be your top 35, like, across history. For me, he's in there, right? There are lots of like other random people who are like so good at hitting the ball. I'm getting off track. Let's talk about PSG and Bayern, right? I feel like this game just had such a high technical flaw, not ceiling, flaw, because I think when you watch a lot of the games in the Premier League, it just becomes so somewhere, and it's no nice, bizarre. But these guys, right? The things that they were doing, like, at a regular level, how they were searing through each other like a hot knife through butter, right? It was fantastic. And again, so when I look at like the goals that were scored, right? Great play from Luis Diaz to end that penalty. The PSG Dembele should have equalized first of all with that, but Dembele should have had a hat trick today, right? But again, look at Kvaratskhelia, right? The way he weaves past two Bayern defenders who, and these guys aren't bums, who like these are good defenders. These Bayern defenders are actually good, right? And Kvaratskhelia weaves past them like nothing is there, and then he didn't even whip it. He just put it in where like Neuer couldn't reach it. Fantastic finish. And then you go corner kick, João Neves, tiniest man in the box, excellent delivery, well-timed run, 2-1. And then of course Michael Olise does almost the same thing that Kvaratskhelia does, but from the middle of the park, opens his body up to fake the keeper, and then just bangs it into like the middle of the goal. I was watching it, right, and I was like, what? Like I couldn't imagine how this would have felt to watch live, right? There were just so many difference makers, showing that there are difference makers on display. Now, of course, there was a controversial call for the Bayern penalty, the PSG penalty, right? And I don't know if that was a penalty, to be honest, right? I understand why the ref has given it as a penalty, but I don't know if I agree that it was a pen, because when I look at it, Brett, it looked a little bit like it came off of Davies' thigh before it hit his hand. But when you replay it quickly, it doesn't look like that. I haven't seen too many replays of it as well. I think I have to go back and watch those to see if it was really a Davies, if it really did hit Davies' thigh and then his hand, right? His hand is in a relatively natural position for me, but I think that he's obstructing the ball from moving, and it does make himself a little bigger, which is why this natural position thing is a little awkward. Like I think if you should have one or the other, right? It's either your hand is in a natural position or you're making your body bigger, because both tend to like contradict each other. For example, if I'm jumping, right, and I'm jumping like this and the ball hits my elbow, right, obviously without my elbow the ball has a straight path, right, but it's a natural position, but I am making my body bigger. So I don't know, I think that the laws are kind of subjective, and of course the referees have to apply common sense at the end of the day. And I'm happy that I didn't ruin the spectacle of the game in general, because I mean, after that, again, because I didn't know and all I knew was the final score, when they went into halftime at 3-2, I was thinking that, oh, was it 3-3, 4-3, and then like 4-4, 5-4? So when PSG came out, and then Hakimi, beautiful ball from João Neves, right? Hakimi blitzed down the side, cuts the ball back, right? Excellent cut back. Both Dembele and Due, I think it was, jump over the ball. Both of them are hacked down, and Kvaratskhelia just buries it, right? I was like, take my money, take it. Like there's no credit card, but you know what I'm saying. Just take everything I have, guys. Like this is like why we watch the sport. This was just a genuinely entertaining game. This was both managers looking at each other and saying, "I'm not afraid of you," right? If you watch anime. Yeah, so anyway, so sorry, this is just me like, you know, waffling about anime, you know, just ignore this. This is a voiceover, by the way. All I'm basically saying over here, I'm explaining Seven Deadly Sins and how there was this one character who was so overpowered that when it was time for him to fight somebody whose powers that he made everybody weaker, he basically just went up to him and said, Escono just walks up to the guy, he's like, I'm not stronger than you, I pity you, what are you talking about? And then they start boxing. That was genuinely this game. This was just Vincent Company and Luis Enrique looking at her like, oh, nice job that I'm doing with your team, but I'm going to take it apart. And both of them really did. I think that this is perfectly poised going into next week, because I think Luis Enrique is smart, but I think that even he himself would know that it might be to his advantage to play to a more chaotic setting as well. I think PSG have all the tools to counter-attack, right? But I think they know that if they go to the Allianz Arena and they kind of sit deep and invite pressure, Bayern Munich could also easily take them apart. I've never seen Nuno Mendes involved in a game like this where he was also on skates like that. Like, I mean, Yamal has done a number on him a few times, right? But like today was there were times that Ulisse would pick up the ball and to be like, Nuno Mendes is just a regular left back and he's just cooking. I'm like, wow, what is this? Excellent game. Harry Kane that assist. Hey, Tottenham, like the more and more I remember about how we were linked to Harry Kane, Manchester United, and we didn't get him, the more and more I become sad because like what a complete player, bro. What a complete player Harry Kane is. And he's just getting better with age. I don't know if he's ever going to slow down, guys, but just the fantastic performance all around from Harry Kane. So, move on from Kane, move on from Bayern PSG, right? My pick for the final was Atletico Bayern, right? I said that at the beginning of the once the round of 16 draw was made, that was who I felt would make it to the final. And I think it's still very much theirs. I think PSG have shown that they could easily take it away. But I don't want you guys to forget either that PSG had Luis Enrique on the bench, Vincent Kompany was on the bench. That's a very, very big difference if your coach is not on the pitch with you. Just his presence alone does a lot for a team. And Kimmich could have also easily scored at the last minute of the game, right? The ball was cleared in the 93rd of the 94th minute. So I think going into the Allianz Arena, there's all to play for it. I want to personally, like, I would really love to like host a small get together in my house where like a bunch of my friends could also come and like watch it with me, and because I feel like this is like a once in a lifetime experience, kind of, where like you have to like get everybody and just who loves football and just experience it, because like that was a fantastic game. We move on to the less glamorous game of Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. I met my good friend Felix Hunter, who is actually an Arsenal fan, right? And he told me that he's a little disappointed that Bayern and PSG did such a show, because now everybody's going to look at the Arsenal game and be like, it's nil harambol. And I told him that, come on, man, it's not going to end nil. That I told him that Atletico have never, apparently they have gone like 40 something games without a goalless draw. So definitely somebody would score. I told him that it's more likely to end up 1-0 or 1-1. That if they are lucky, we get 2-2. He told me that he thinks that they will be close. I told him that I agree, but in the second leg, because I think in the second leg, when there's more to play for, I think that's when Simeone's teams have tended to rise. Like they need adversity before they can play good football, or they can actually play in football, right? There were not too many talking points about the Arsenal game actually, but I have to say I felt like the refs' first two penalty calls were really good, right? If you think that the Gyökeres one is soft, it's a lie. One of the basic things in football that you have to realize is that shoulder to shoulder is not a foul, but a shoulder to your back is a foul. And that's one thing that a lot of players have learned to master very well. As long as your shoulder enters somebody's back, even if it's very light, it has to be like extremely light for it to not be considered a foul. But once it is there, once there is a shoulder to somebody's back, it's a foul. And that's what happened on Victor Gyökeres for Arsenal's first penalty. So incredible decision to make that penalty, right? The referee didn't hesitate, and I like that. Great call. And then you have the Atletico penalty. I just realized that this game ended 1-1 because both teams scored penalties anyway. So the Atletico penalty, right? Marcos Llorente bangs the ball with his whole heart, right? It's not really going anywhere, and Hincapie's hand is out, and it hits his handball. Is usually used to refer to the whole hand, but the ball actually hits his palm. That's a genuine handball, right? And so it was a penalty for me because his hand was outstretched, and you might argue natural position. His body is too big in that situation for me to even like consider saying that like it was a natural position. Like Charlie. But yeah, let's continue talking about the Arsenal game. Look at this Arsenal game, and for me, if you're an Arsenal fan, I forgive you for thinking that this is your game now. I also forgive you for thinking that you are not safe, because both are very valid viewpoints. When I think of Atletico Arsenal, there's actually a lot more cinema to this game than people realize. And I think that the one thing that comes to my mind when I think of Atletico at the Emirates is Griezmann doing the L and doing that dance at the away end. Emirates away limbs are up there for me. Like if your team goes to the Emirates and you win, it's so fantastic because most of the time they win at the away end. So there's usually like some celebration going on there. Atletico, United, City, everybody has had an Emirates away end limbs moments, right? It's a fantastic place to go and beat Arsenal at, to be honest. But it's not easy, especially under Mikel Arteta, right? But let's get back to this game, right? So I spoke about how I like the referees too, because I didn't like his third call at all. I think Arsenal were robbed. I don't see how it's not a penalty, to be honest with you. If the referee didn't give it the first time, I would be able to say that, okay, it's a little soft. But the clear and obvious nature that, like we always talk about, like, is there a clear and obvious error, yada yada yada. I think that there's contact, right? I really like when people talk about like enough contact, because for me, once it is involved in like the feet, right? Once it's involved with the feet, there's no such thing as enough contact, because players are moving at a very high rate, right? Very fast rate, very quick rate. When Eze touches that ball, right, she could be very easily going for a 1-2 with somebody, right? And you can actually see that there's contact. Like the contact actually forces Eze's leg to move, and then he steps on his leg. It might be a minute step on his leg, right? But he has still stepped on his leg, and he has prevented him from moving further, right? I think it's a penalty. I mean, that's just me. If it was my team and they did this to me, I would be so angry. I wouldn't be angry if they gave this against us, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to dive into the penalty box? Because if he left his knee there and then Eze's leg clashes with his knee, it's a penalty. He has stepped on him. It's a penalty. Like, it was a penalty in my opinion. I understand, like, there's the argument of like, oh, where's the threshold for what is a penalty and what isn't a penalty? Like, we can't just be encouraging players to be going down in the box. Like, I really understand that sentiment. But at the same time, I think that there was just too much in this specific instance for the referee to have called it and to go back. You see, if he hadn't called it, right, and he went to VAR and said that I don't see enough to overturn my decision, right, I agree. But if you have called it and you go to VAR and say that it's not enough, I think it should be the other way around. You say that it's not enough to warrant like a rescinding of the decision, right? But I mean, 1-1 Emirates, game on, really. Like, it's a game. It's really a hot game now. Ademola Lookman has completely changed Diego Simeone's life. Like, I know that Simeone must be planning some trip to Nigeria right now, because this guy is just genuinely like, Chelsea fans like to make a lot of jokes to the Arsenal fans online that, oh, Arsenal, we sold you this player and they are not doing well. Come and buy this, our other washed player. He will unlock him for you right now. Yeah, the point is that, like, there's like, I'm sorry guys, I'm at a loss for words. The football has overtaken me. But what all I have to say is that, right, let's just looking into this game, right? Lookman has saved this guy's life. He was so electric. He got into so many good positions. He was just taking the Arsenal defenders on every chance he got, and he was pretty good. He didn't get the goal or the assist he deserved. He should have scored that goal, right? Great save from Raya and Saliba. Was it Saliba or was it Mendy who made that block from Lookman again? Like, those guys just keep saving Arsenal, bro. Like Alex Ferguson made a saying that attack wins you game, defense wins you titles, bro. Arsenal's defense, just every time you think that like Arsenal are going to get washed, something, they always have like some rock hard defensive moments that just keeps them in the game, and I love that. Like, I love that, seeing that. And I'm just so intrigued going into next week, because I think that this Atletico Arsenal tie, even though it's 1-1, and Arsenal did beat Atletico 4-0 at the Emirates, like in the game that they played in the group phases, right? I don't think this is anywhere near done. Like, I think this could easily go either way. It could be 4-0 Arsenal, it could be 2-0 Atleti, it could be 2-2 after extra time, going into penalties. Like, for me, this game could go anywhere. Very similar with the Bayern PSG game, right? I was telling my good friend that this Bayern PSG game going into next week could very easily be 4-3 Bayern. No, it could very easily be 4-2 Bayern as of like 80 minutes, right? And then PSG gets like a late one. And then in those like brief moments, like before the match ends, both managers and both players are like, let's give it 30 more minutes. And then they go to extra time and they just resume the utter blows, and then the game goes to penalties or somebody wins it in extra time. It could easily be like that. And I mean, Bayern also had injuries. Like, I'm just so poised, bro. Like the best word that I would like to end you guys with, apart from don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, is I'm seated, and so should you be.